I met James Armstrong when he was a teenager. He's since become financially independent. He's now pretty wealthy. He's got a very nice portfolio. This is his fantastic place where he lives. Nice. When I first met James, he said to me that he wanted to do property development and he wanted to make serious money. And I remember saying to James, look, you're going to spend your first 12 months packaging and selling deals for other investors, being a sponge, learning all you can learn, and you're going to get there. It's now 2 years later. Let's see how he's getting on. Here he is!
How you doing, man?
This is James Armstrong, killing it in property. When did we first meet? When you were how old?
I was 19 when I won the crash course.
19 years old, he came on the crash course, and he's since gone to do some great things. You came on Winners Wednesday, and that video, how many views has it had?
60,000 views or something stupid.
But 60,000 views, and people are asking you a ton of questions.
Yeah.
They're asking you questions about what your properties look like. They're asking you questions about, are we related? Are we related?
Not yet, no.
We're not yet related. He is dating my wife's sister, so maybe we'll. But you did meet her after you did the crash course.
Yeah, so I'm on the crash course like the 12th of Jan.
Yeah.
Day one, 2-day course. I'd met her before. I didn't really know anything about your family.
Yeah.
So it was like 2 weeks after that, and I'd already paid for the DFE at that point.
And so you paid for the training, but people sometimes assume that you got special treatment because you were in the family, but that's not true, right?
No, you are the same on camera, on stage, off camera, at home. Like, you're the same anywhere. You're not like this different person who gives special treatment to different people or acts differently in front of different people. Like, it's just you.
And you dating Melissa, you kind of even kept it under the radar. It's not like you did it to try and get close to me or some messed up reason like that. So he is dating my sister-in-law. He is killing it in property. Is it alright if we have a little look around your little crib?
Come on in.
So what made you want to live in this place? Because it's absolutely fantastic. How did that come about?
You know, as a guy who finds houses for a living, you'd have thought it'd be easy to find a place to live in. It wasn't. It's really, really difficult. We just wanted to be somewhere close to like where my mate works, and then like pretty much anywhere there. But I wanted somewhere nice, so it was modern, ideally a bit secluded and private, like, you know, gates and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
And when I saw the castle that the landlord was living in, and I met him and started like looking around, I was like, I really, really like this place. You know.
Yeah.
Throughout all this lockdown, like there's walks, like there's loads of acres worth of land you can walk down by the canal.
No, I like
stuff,
it.
Like.
And I actually think when you first joined the academy, I was just completing on the castle when you just joined, wasn't I?
Yeah, I think when I started the academy, you didn't yet own it. You were like in the process of buying it. You bought it a couple of weeks after our like first one-on-one or something.
What you've achieved in the last 2.5 years, though, is mega. You're making pretty good money in property.
Yeah.
What kind of is an average month for you to make in property?
Just deal sourcing's probably like 30-40 grand a month, somewhere in that region.
That's crazy.
The last 3 VAT quarters have been around about 90 grand. So that's how I can track it. So for the last 9 months, it's at least 30 grand a month.
30 grand a month! I've created a monster! I need to start asking your advice on stuff. I mean, that's deal sourcing.
It's just deal sourcing.
But what you've done though is you've used that money to start building your own portfolio.
Yep.
We're going to go inside one of James's houses. You don't own this place.
I rent it, man.
In fact, that's one of the things though. Rent stuff that you use yourself. If you see him driving fancy cars, which you will see all the time, he doesn't own it, okay? He doesn't own it. Is that right?
100% true.
He doesn't own it. This place right now that we're in, nice, beautiful place. Do you own this?
No.
He doesn't own it. Why? Because he's smart. That's being financially literate. Why do you rent stuff that you have yourself and then buy stuff that you rent out? What's the philosophy around that?
This isn't an asset. This doesn't pay me. Like, I have to pay bills here. I have to pay for the rent. You got to pay for everything else. When you buy a house and then you rent it out, it pays you every month.
Yeah.
Robert Kiyosaki says an asset is something that pays you every month.
Yeah.
You know, a car's never going to pay you every month. It depreciates in value for starters. It's not a real asset.
Yeah.
And then if I buy my own place, let's say I take 200 grand or 100 grand or 50 grand and put as a deposit in my own house. And all right, I've got a house. I pay a mortgage rather than the rent. But if I took that money and invested it in a house and then got the rental income, the profit I'd make for that would be bigger than the saving I'd make on having a mortgage versus renting my own place.
Correct. So it's just a commercial decision, right?
Yeah, and I can move out when I want.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about what the market's at when I want to sell my house.
This is about lifestyle. So we're going to drive down now to your patch, which is northwest England. We're going to drive down to this patch. I want to meet Melissa. because you guys are kind of doing this together. I want to see some of the properties that you've sold to investors. I want to see the little house that you just bought. Nice. All I know about Aston Martins are James Bond drives an Aston Martin, so I like it. Hey, you look so low down. Hi there.
I can't actually, yeah.
Whoa. I was using that to support, to hold on to, and it just disappeared. So I assume I'm going to follow you up.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I'll see you in about 10 minutes.
If you can keep up.
Oh, if I can keep up. All right. And yours is already on to let.
Yeah.
Nice one.
So
I like it. It's
when I
white.
bought it, so it wasn't
You
white when I
painted
bought
it, yes.
Nice.
So it looked exactly like this one. Horrible.
Yeah.
At the back, the guttering looked pretty much the same as that one did at the front. So, yeah.
You know what? It's amazing how much difference painting a house from the outside. I bet that cost you 300 quid.
Not even that.
How much was it?
I actually did a deal with a builder and got it in for free, but it would have been about 150 quid.
Okay, so for like 150 quid, the difference between this house and this house, if you were coming around to view it, to let it, if you were a valuer coming around, you just straight away going to think, this is nice.
We always say this, like if you're going to have a house revalued, it's got to look good when they see it. The first thing they see is going to look at the house, and if it looks a bit, tired and worn, then it doesn't matter how nice it is inside.
It's like first impressions. I'm sure when you guys first met. all right, show me this one around, in fact, because most of them haven't seen it.
Yes, it is. Hi. How you doing?
Hi.
Good stuff.
Hi.
So again, when I bought this was like some old, like horrible archway here.
Yeah.
You had to like duck a little bit to get through, but the stairs are, we can't really go much higher, but it's made a big difference just squaring it out, just giving it a bit more space.
What do you think?
I love it. Honestly.
If ever things don't work out for you guys financially,
we could just come and sit up here.
yeah, just come and sit up here in
Shop.
Accrington.
We've got a nice little, lounge area mixed in with a bit of a dining area there.
And then we had big, like, brickwork sort of like mantelpiece, fireplace type thing, like all the way through into the next room.
So this looks like almost finished now, works-wise.
Yeah.
I mean, you got what, like a week left or less?
I mean, pretty much the weekend. We'll ask the lads while they're here and ask them.
Yeah.
When are you planning on finishing?
I'll be finished pretty much today. I'm leasing it back on Sunday.
Fair enough.
We're done.
That's it.
Decorator in tomorrow to finish all the rest of the decorating.
So there you go. It's done this weekend.
Yeah, there's just a few sockets and whatnot to change. Me and my mate are coming in on Sunday to do that, and then
That's really
it's
good.
all right, isn't it?
Really good, yeah.
It makes a big difference.
It's a bit of fault on the boiler, so the plumber's just on his way to get a few bits. So
Yeah,
it's
Daniel.
pretty much done.
Daniel gave me a ring this morning to let me know, but we'll get it fixed. It's having a new fan.
Oh, this is nice.
Yes, this is a new kitchen. This is a new kitchen. So, yeah, the biggest thing left to do now is just clean everything. It's being revalued on Monday, so it'll be done this weekend.
Wow.
Nice. So
That's
you got a
good.
busy weekend?
I mean, I don't.
You have a busy weekend.
But yeah. And then out here, we've got a little sort of like utility space type thing for a fridge or whatever, and then a bathroom, which to be fair, the bathroom's in decent nick when we got it. It was just kind of poorly fitted, so the grouting was poor, the silicone was poor. There was some horrible like UPVC around here and stuff, so we've basically just tidied it up and fixed some of the shoddy workmanship that was in.
It reminds me very much of my first house in Merivale Road.
Yeah.
It's very, very similar, and just the feel to it as well. It's got a good feel. Good feel.
We should definitely go out the back because we've done some work out there. So this house came with a lot of damp. There were chimney problems, there was guttering problems, the sarking felt was missing at the back. And this is one of those weird houses where it doesn't actually have gutters. So the way it works, you can see the new LED flashing at the top there. The roof sort of finishes, and then the top of it, there's basically some concrete pieces that are kind of like a U shape, and then you line them with lead. Yeah. So there's just a solid gutter then that runs the whole way down the street. And it was, the lead was gone. Like, it was horrible. There was so much damp in that top bedroom.
So presumably this is just rendered and it's brick construction, right?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the render was in really poor condition as well, so we just kind of patched it up a bit and then painted it. It didn't really need a lot doing to it. But yeah, the house is looking 1,000 times better than when I was first here.
And location-wise, good location?
This is a really good rental area.
Feels nice. Feels nice. You can literally see the church, and it feels very villagey.
Yeah, and then you're on the street. There's not like rubbish bags outside. There's not like there's no broken windows or anything. Like it's a decent area.
So, how much did you buy this house for?
48,000.
£48,000. Not bad. And you've spent how much on it?
13,200 including the VAT.
Okay. You paid stamp duty, presumably.
Yeah, 3% of 48k, so a bit less than 1,500 quid.
Yeah. Okay. So all in, what was your total investment to buy this place?
It was 64,000, pretty much on the dot.
Yeah.
Pretty much like within 50 quid. It was
And some people might be wondering, how did you afford to put £64,000 cash into this project? Did you use your own money?
Nope.
How did you finance it?
I raised some finance from an investor. So they had a reasonable amount of money. They're in a little bit of a difficult position because they can't get mortgages because they've got a complicated financial history or something along those lines. So I said, okay, why don't you give the money to me? I'll give you a fixed return, because they were planning on buying everything cash and making like 6 to 8%. I said, I'll give you more than that. Just give me the money.
Yeah.
So over 7 years, I got 130,000 at 14%, which is a bit more than I wanted to pay.
Why did you borrow 130,000?
Because I'm doing another house in South.
Okay. So you're paying how much? 10%?
14.
14.
Which is a lot. Which is a lot. But on 130k, I can do a lot with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, so for example, there's this one going on. There's a flip in South Wales that I'm due to complete on pretty soon. I haven't even seen that one once, actually, as it happens.
And when did you last see this house?
February, January.
So that's months and months.
Yeah.
And you've never seen it,
I've
Melissa?
never seen it, yeah. That's bizarre.
It's like,
It's going ahead and everything's going well. Like
Power team, man.
Yeah.
Power team.
talk to me about that.
So the builders that are on doing this, they're actually contractors, they're house builders. They don't do small refurbs. But because we're doing something else with them, which we're seeing later, I basically was able to pull their leg and get them to do this for me. And they've done it at cost, which is obviously really, really good. But we're planning on doing joint ventures with them. So it's on the back of future business coming down the line and just building up great relationships with people.
And how do you find great relationships like that?
That's networking, man. The same way you find investors.
Where do these guys come from?
These were friends of our architects.
Yeah, from David.
From David.
Small world.
Small world.
Great.
There you go. So yeah, we're just networking with people you know, asking for recommendations. Half the time when we want to find builders in the area that we are new to, I just go on Facebook groups and go, hey, what builders can you recommend? There's thousands of property investors out there who have done conversions before, whether it be HMOs or just, you know, buy refurb refinance. Just ask questions. Just get out in the world, ask questions.
Love that. All right, show us more.
So yeah, let's go upstairs. This back door will be cleaned up. It's probably going to stay as is. The boiler, you mentioned, came up with a warning light this morning, so the fan needs replacing, which will cost about 175 quid. So I'm going to do that, and I could replace the whole thing, but I can take out boiler insurance, which is like 10, 15, 20 quid a month, and if it breaks, I'm claiming it on the insurance.
Right.
So yeah, that's the plan.
Well, it's better than having to suddenly shell out a load of money.
Yeah,
Exactly,
to replace
exactly.
it altogether.
And I wouldn't mind replacing it, you know, because then I've got, you know, 5, 10 years worth of use, but at the same time, if I don't need to spend the money, I'm not going to.
Yeah.
So yeah, carpet's coming in over the weekend, but you put the carpet in last, because obviously you don't want to get paint stains on it or anything like that. But you can already feel, even with the underlay, it still feels fairly soft.
Yeah.
So when you're looking to do your refurbs, get a cheap carpet, but go for good quality underlay. Because then when you're walking on it, it feels like you're walking on a cloud. It's really, really nice.
Why would you recommend getting a cheap carpet though?
Lasts longer.
A cheap carpet lasts longer.
If you get the hardware and stuff, which doesn't look quite as nice,
Yeah.
it's actually cheaper than some of the really like expensive shag piles and the really, you know, like high-end sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And ultimately, you're probably going to replace the carpet next time tenant moves out anyway.
Yeah.
You know, carpet doesn't last forever.
It's nice.
Yeah, I like it. I really like
this
it.
is a really spacious
And like you
room.
said, it is so soft to walk on, honestly.
And hearing that from Melissa as well, Melissa, you are not just a pretty face, right?
No.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a quantity surveyor.
So you're in construction
Yes,
full
I'm in
time?
construction, full time. So I know what to look out for. And this is really, really good.
And you've
Really
also,
good.
not only are you full time in construction, but you've also done training.
Yeah, exactly. I've done property investment training by yourself. And
You've done a lot of deals.
yeah, a lot of deals. So I know what a good deal is and what it looks like. And obviously you've done such a good job. And to hear you talking about the figures downstairs.
You like that?
Yeah.
We haven't spent a lot on what is pretty much a mid-house.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. And the refurb, 13.5 grand? Like, that's quite impressive. And you even got a new kitchen and stuff.
Yeah.
So good.
Well, this is the thing, like even if I didn't refinance it, I just bought it cash at 64 grand and I rented it out at 475. By the way, this will probably get 500. Hey, that's still better than you get in a bank. It's better than you get from pretty much any savings account, any like investment ISA.
Yeah, well, the yield is quite
Just
good.
the yield, even if I bought it cash at 64, like
Yeah.
it's still a great deal even without refinancing it. But that's when we get creative.
Yeah, which we're going to get to in a few
We'll
minutes.
get to. So this room is the interesting one. So literally all of this, and you can still see like it's still drying out a little bit up there. And then all of this wall has all been freshly plastered. The architrave's still off because we're waiting for the wall to dry out, but you can still see a little bit up there. Massive chimney problems. And like I say, with the guttering down there, like this wall was just soaking wet. It took 2 weeks to dry out. Just literally.
Is the decorator going to sort this out this weekend?
Yeah.
What's he going to do to sort this out here?
So it's actually dry now. This is just obviously the underlying plaster. So there'll be a little bit of touch at work, and then there's a fresh piece of architrave to go on, which is...
You can hear the work going on downstairs. They're busy. The valuation's coming on Monday, so they've got to get this finished.
Oh, it's so exciting.
And the views are fantastic.
Yeah.
Bar the dirty window.
Bar the day, which will be cleaned, obviously.
Really nice. I find every time I do a project, whether it be big or whether it be small, there's always things that I learn through the process. Now, I know you've been pretty hands-off and the team have been dealing with it. What have been the learning points of this project?
You know, the best thing I've learned about this house is how the guttering works in little places like this. Every little area has little like quirks about how they build houses. Yeah. And around here, it's the way the guttering works. And you can see, obviously, it's caused issues, as any guttering would, but it's a lot cheaper to fix. You know, it's only 150 quid for the flashing, as opposed to maybe 500-600 quid for full UPVC gutters and like downpipes and all the rest of it. So, yeah, that is something I did not know anything about before.
Do you plan on building a portfolio in Accrington, or because I know some of the other projects aren't? They're close by, but they're not in Accrington itself. Or are you going to just let this one do its thing?
I'm going to build a portfolio of good deals. I don't really care where they are, if I'm honest with you. If I have to go somewhere and I've got to get actively involved with stuff, then either my power team is not good enough, or there's something about the deal that hasn't been set up right, so it's not passive. I don't want to be this guy that's like super hands-on, doing this, doing that. Like, of course, you can cause you problems if you don't have the right people in place, which is why I want to do that. So in terms of where would I want my houses? Hey, wherever the money's good.
I personally love this area. Have you done any deal? I know you've been doing a lot of packaging, selling. Have you done much in this area?
So, funnily enough, I was here about 2 weeks ago, I think.
But no, you didn't even come to the house?
I didn't go to the house.
Oh my goodness!
Well, I came on my own, you know, James wasn't here, but I basically came with the intention of trying to find a buy refurb refinance. And I looked pretty much in this area, and I have to say, this house is gold dust. I feel like you did a really good job finding it, because I had a look at houses nearby, and I couldn't find anything that would actually stack up as well as this one has. So I'm still on the hunt, but I will catch up.
So talking about this deal being so great, and the thing we've not gone to is you've said that you bought it, you've said the price you paid for it, the amount that you put down in total, it was a total of 64 grand including everything. What is the new valuation? That's what we need to know.
I think we'll get the bare minimum, we'll get 85 grand. So obviously when you put your application through for the refinance, you can effectively choose your figure within reason, and then they come back and say yes or no. We're going to put this through around about 90. Yeah. I think we'll get 85 all day long. That's what I initially expected, and I still think we'll get it. If you look at 85k and you take 75% of that you get from the bank, I'm going to get 63,750 quid. So this house cost me 250 quid.
That's insane.
Incredible.
And that's what I was looking for, and I'm still on the hunt for it, so.
Yeah. I'll be honest, it is a lot harder now. Like this house in the condition it was, probably now would go for 55, 60. You know, there's a lot of people buying way above and beyond what is worth for houses in poor condition. But it's very difficult sometimes to tell the difference between a 12 grand refurb like this one and say 25 grand refurb. They can look almost the same, and you can have the same level of damp. Like this whole room was damp. It looked horrible, but it didn't cost much to fix. But if you were downstairs and it was in the kitchen and stuff, we're going to be putting new DPCs down. There's 5 grand just in damp course in there. So you've got to be careful about when you're looking at your houses. And I think if you're going to do BRRs and you want to get a good deal, don't overpay for your house and make sure your refurb figures are solid. You know, because they can be money pits.
I love that wood smell.
Fresh smell of pine, man. It's great, isn't it?
It's good. I'm sure when you first bought the house, it smelled very different. Now it's that good smell.
Yeah, different is the word I would probably go with.
It's the finished smell. Hey, good to meet you guys.
Yeah, thanks guys. See ya. Oh, I absolutely love it. So good. Honestly, there are so many different strategies, aren't there, like in terms of what you can do in property. You've got lease options, you've got single lets, HMOs, and buy refurb refinance has just got to be one of my favorite deal strategies. I think obviously deal sourcing is fantastic, and I was super confused about what a barrier for refinance was and also what the rest of it was. But after the training that obviously I went on in the crash course and the DFE, I learned so much about how you can actually do these deals. And when I started looking for my own barrier for refinance deal, that's when I really got to the nooks and crannies about what it was. And this deal, honestly, the reason why I kept on saying it was such a good deal in there was because you've basically been able to get this money from an investor, you've been able to get this house and drive the value up, and from that the bank will obviously give you the money for when you refinance, and then you can pay back the investor and you're just left with this house, which is basically free. It's incredible.
You're like almost inspired by James on James's behalf.
Yeah,
but that's so cool. That's why we're documenting this, because you're inspired by seeing James's house. It's crazy you've never seen it, but I want loads of people to see this and to see it work, because I think that, and you know what, your journey, James, and both your journeys, but the way that this house and the other projects you're doing, it reminds me of my journey. The only difference is I didn't know about deal sourcing until years later.
That's why you did so well. Because you'd already done the deals, you've built up that education base, you've built up the understanding and the knowledge about how all the strategies go together. So when you come to sell deals and you're speaking to investors, they have the confidence that you know what you're doing. Not just because you got proof, but also because you actually know what you're talking about.
But that's the thing with what you're doing. You're a deal sourcer, but the reason you're such a successful deal sourcer is because you're doing deals yourself.
Yeah, and because I invested in my education. I took the time out. You know, when I started out, I spent 3 months solid, and I would say at least 4 out of the 7 days in a week, I was in a training room with you and other people and your trainers and the rest of the people in the academy, just soaking up knowledge for 3 months straight before I even really started doing anything. You know, I was just getting the information together. So I know when I'm on the phone to an investor now and we're going through an HMO deal, I'm not the kind of guy who's just left out the utility bills because I forgot to add it in, kind of thing. You know, and when you sell the deals to people and they say how have you quoted your refurb, I can say, well, it costs this to do this, it costs this to do this, because I've done it, and because I can prove it, and because I learnt it when I was on the academy. We went through buying refurb refinance,
and all the training that you guys have paid for with me. Did you claim that back?
All of it,
Of course you did. So what's the setup here? So James packages and sells deals to his investors in this area, and then you manage them. And how's that going?
Really, really well, really well. We've got 200 rooms, currently 6 available, 2 of them doubles, so potentially 8 people we can house.
So out of 206, that's high. That's good occupancy. 200 rooms, 6 available. Okay, so you're happy for more HMO investors to come into this area? You're like...
Yeah, I've been calling round, I've been calling James, I've been speaking to people who we know, trying to get more people to buy here, to create more rooms.
And I know we've done a bit of business in the past, I think, as well. I think we've met before anyway.
Yes.
I've been in the area. Should I buy a HMO in Burnley?
Yeah, absolutely.
You reckon? Absolutely. So what's your background?
Construction. So my dad was a builder. I've grown up on building sites. I went into the trades, painting and decorating and tiling. From that the business grew, but then my dad sadly passed away, and he was the one who built the houses, you know, he was a stonemason bricklayer. I didn't want to go down that route, so I went into management instead. So we do refurbs now. I have a team of about 20 guys who work for me on and off, like subcontractors.
I think the thing is within property is there's a big enough pie for there to be multiple people making money. So the deal sourcer can make money, and then the manager can make money. The investor's obviously going to make money. That's the thing I like about property, the fact that everybody can be happy. As long as people don't get too greedy, there's enough money in the pie. What do you think about that, Tina?
Yeah, absolutely, definitely. And definitely there's money to be made in Burnley. I think we achieved on Colne Road a higher return than what we thought we were going to in the beginning.
The gross rent's like 50% higher than what we thought it was going to be.
What do you think though about people that say Burnley's oversaturated with HMOs? Like, you're a manager specialising in HMOs in Burnley. What do you think about that?
If you've got HMOs in Burnley, I am desperate for them at the minute. If you're struggling with your manager or you're struggling finding tenants, I am absolutely desperate. I've got 600 people to house before Christmas and I have no rooms, none.
So it's not saturated with HMOs?
No.
You know people that say that? They're either financially retarded or Dave from the pub told them that. But we're here in the horse's mouth here right now, getting true facts.
How do you like the car?
It's very nice. It's very nice.
You know what? The best bit about it is not the speed or anything else. It's just that noise, man. Just that raughty V8. Should definitely get one of these.
You want to buy one?
Thing is, I wouldn't buy one because it wouldn't hold its value. And I could buy one of these, or I could buy a house, and I can't justify it financially. Like, it's just not the right thing to do. Top tip there, especially if you've got a lot of houses, get key safes. You never have to worry about keys again.
We've got the keys for this one. This is not owned by James. This is one that you packaged and sold on, right?
Yep.
The investor's happy, very happy. I don't blame the investor because it's completely full.
So yeah, this house has been fully refurbed, like pretty much back to brick. So yeah, it's really, really nice. We won't be able to go in the rooms, obviously, because it's tenanted.
Yeah.
But we've got one room here, we've got one room above it, another room there, and then one room on the top floor on the left. So it's a 3-story house. It's in pretty good condition. Hey man, you happy? Good stuff, man. Sorry?
So we're with the agent.
We're with the agent, yeah, we're with the agent.
But don't worry, you can relax. It's
Relax,
okay.
man. We're not here to like kick you out or anything. Don't worry.
It's kind of a tiny bit awkward coming into this house because it's full. There's 7 tenants in. We can't go in any of the rooms. I don't actually know why we're here. I just wanted to tangibly see some of James's investors' houses. It's good to see that they're full though. This is on the narrow side, right?
It is, but we've obviously for HMO regulations, all of this has been fireboarded. So this is why the ceiling's been dropped, because it's been fireboarded, and this is why it looks the way it does. And you've got the interlinked smoke alarms, the fire doors, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But we were really kind of 50-50 on whether or not we replace the kitchen. And we were chatting with Tina, and she was like, look, HMOs, like also, they get a lot of wear and tear. You're better off replacing the kitchen now rather than, say, 12 months' time, having to get the tenants out and then replacing it. So you know what, we thought, may as well, we'll do it. So the investors bought this house cash, and they are planning on refinancing it. And at the start, we weren't sure if we were going to buy it cash or mortgage or anything. So actually, it's turned out really, really well putting a new kitchen in, because it's going to drive that value up even more.
Where did you find the property investor for this house?
Would you believe it? They were a contact that came in, that got in touch with me after my first Winners on a Wednesday that I did with you.
There we have it. So you came on Winners. I didn't know that. You never told me that before. So you came on Winners Wednesday. You came on Winners Wednesday.
Yeah, I did.
Did you get a lot of people reaching out to you after Winners?
I did actually. It was so nice because a lot of people were saying how much I'd inspired them to just get started, because obviously as a 22-year-old uni student with a job, like, I had lots of excuses to not get started, but lots of people were like, actually I can do it, which is fantastic.
How much money do you think you've made, James, as a direct result of being on Winners on a Wednesday?
I'd say at least 50 grand. Like, seriously. If you go, yeah, I'd say at least 50 grand. I probably sold I can count on my hands from memory at least 10 people have bought a deal from me just from Winners on a Wednesday.
Incredible.
Wow, that's
So, yeah.
impressive.
And Melissa,
Yeah.
deal sourcing. I know you've done deal packaging in the past. Is that
Yeah.
something that you're actively wanting to do now? What's the next steps for you in your journey? And do you and James, are you kind of like together? Are you separate? Like, what's the crack?
So at the minute, obviously, deal sourcing was a fantastic way for me to raise a bit of capital in the beginning of the year. But now myself and James are going to be doing a flip together.
Okay.
So that's kind of my strategy at the minute, and that's what I'm more so focused on. So I'm looking for a buy refurb kind of deal.
And how are you going to finance this?
So James is going to finance it.
Oh, right.
Oh yeah, when you said are we together or separate? Yeah, so basically he's going to finance it, I'm going to find it, and basically get it all done, get the refurb.
So you're going to do the work, he's going to put the money in.
Yeah, and
And
then
where's the money come from
split.
initially though? Where did James get the money from?
His deal sourcing business, right?
Literally, yeah, profits from the deal sourcing business.
Yeah.
Do you know what, that's the thing? You need to be doing, making money here,
Yeah.
deal packaging, rent to rents, whatever it might be, make money and then invest money,
Yeah.
make money, invest money, that's what gets people wealthy.
Yeah, exactly.
And
So
delay
that's
the
what we're doing.
gratification. You know, when you start deal sourcing and you start seeing that money come in, because believe me, it doesn't take that long before you can start seeing like pretty crazy cash. Like 10 grand a month for most people is seriously unobtainable, and it's not that difficult to do in deal sourcing, maybe 3 deals a month.
Yeah.
That's less than 1 a week. And that's a lot of money coming in. You're gonna be really tempted to, buy a nice car, go out, have nice food. And you know what? You can still enjoy a good life.
To go lease an Aston Martin.
Focus on investing first. The same way, you're sort of thinking, oh, I'm gonna put some money now, put some aside, invest it so I can wait until later when I've got kind of the money coming in to pay for that. Do the same with your time. You know, at the start you've got loads of time, invest your time now, and if you're busy, you've got kids and stuff, invest the time now, so in 10, 20 years time, you can take all the time out that you want, and you can go on holiday for 6 months with your family.
I've got a full-time job and I'm doing this on the side as well, so you don't need to just do property full-time to get the maximum benefit out of it. You can literally do it alongside your actual job and still make a good, decent amount of money every month if you want to. It's fantastic.
And all I really want to say to people is, look, it's so possible. Like, you don't have to be a genius, you don't have to be minted when you start, like, you don't need anything really other than the drive and the right attitude to make it happen, and that is it. Get the education, immerse yourself with people in property, and just go heads in, dive into it.
I couldn't have said it better myself. So guys, if you want to get into property, you want to become a property investor, developer, deal sourcer, find deals, push the value, refinance it, then the thing you need to do is, firstly, you need to subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can do that right here. Also, if you want to see James's Winners on a Wednesday interview, you can do that right here. And if you want to see Melissa's Winners Wednesday interview, you can do that right here. But of course, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.